It's the Fantasy Forecast Injury Show with Chef Mike and Dr. Bigz. No Dr. Marcus this week. He is on assignment doing something else. And Schultze is back there somewhere rifling through drawers. I don't know. He's working on some kind of arts and crafts project or something like that. So it's just me and Grindberg here to give you the rundown on the latest Week 12 injuries. Mageddon got you down? Well, don't look now because your fill-ins are probably hurt too. So it's a good one. Let's get into it, Mike, because yesterday we had some news that broke. A couple of big-time storylines. And, we need – let's help out the viewers. Let's do that.
Yeah, Biggs, it's been a crazy 24 to 48 hours after the Snow Bowl there that turned out to be a pretty exciting game in the end. But some stuff happened in the last little while that we got to address here. And let's start it off with the Tampa Bay and the New York Giants game here. And one of the biggest situations that came up in the last little while is Malik Nabers re-aggravated his groin injury and he was limited. So if he is not going to play or is limited in game action, how will this affect the Giants passing game? We know the news broke this week that Daniel Jones was demoted and then ultimately yesterday was cut loose by the Giants. So how does this affect Malik Nabers? Obviously, the injury isn't good, but in general, Biggs, this whole situation's a mess in New York.
New York reminds me a little bit of a nice little place in the desert I know called Las Vegas. Just a shit show all around. Pardon my French. You have a mercurial top-tier rookie talent on both teams and garbage situations at quarterback. Meanwhile, you have a guy that is an excellent slot receiver that isn't likely to be able to handle all of the receiving needs. And I'm talking about Jacoby Myers and Wan'Dale Robinson. I don't think this has any bearing on the Giants this week. I don't think they had a chance to win with Malik Nabers and Daniel Jones, and I don't think they have a chance to win without Malik Nabers and Daniel Jones. It's going to be Tommy Cutlets. He's going to do his best to get the ball to Wan'Dale and Darius Slayton, I think. Sterling Shep, one of those guys, is on that team. Although, keep an eye on Theo Johnson. Over the last few weeks, Theo Johnson has started to emerge. I know this is a guy that we didn't mention this week on our waiver wire show, and we didn't mention him yesterday in our starts and sits show. But over the last 3 weeks, he has 4, 6, and 6 targets. He's put together 6-point, 14-point, and 7-point weeks. So Theo Johnson is on the come up, and I think with Malik Nabers out, go grab yourself some Theo because he could do some things. He could make some noise for you.
And another one I want to bring our viewers' eyes to is potentially, could this be the game that Tyrone Tracy carves himself out a pass catching role in that offense? You know, he has that receiving pedigree from college, and this matchup for him is a really good one, regardless of the receiving chops. I just think that this might be a Tyrone Tracy type of game. But what are your thoughts on his opportunity, maybe him evolving in the passing game?
Well, I mean, what's a quarterback's best friend besides a high quality slot receiver? The dump off pass. So once Tommy Cutlets starts getting a little bit of happy feet, if Tyrone Tracy's back there for him, he can just slide him the ball.
There you go. So on the other side of the ball here, we got some good news on the injury front, and
thank goodness.
The Bucs are getting Mike Evans back this week, and they are playing the Giants, so this matchup may not warrant them having to, involve him a whole lot. And this could be the perfect, game where, he's eased into action. What should fantasy managers expect with Evans playing this week? Is he going to get his full workload right away, do you think, there, Biggs?
Yeah, I think Buccaneers, the way they are looking at it, if Mike Evans is healthy enough to get on the field, he is the wide receiver one in that offense. And I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to another game here on the Chiefs and Carolina. A couple injuries to report. people thought that maybe this could be the week that Isaiah Pacheco would make his return, but ultimately he was ruled out for the game. So this is a smash situation for a guy like Kareem Hunt, who's got top 10 upside here against the Carolina Panthers defense that has been Swiss cheese to opposing running backs. Now, question for you here, Biggs. It looks like Jalen Coker had pulled up on the injury report. Are you a little optimistic now with Adam Thielen coming in back to the lineup here? Could he be somebody that in the rough elements of the fantasy football landscape right now, 6 buys, a lot of guys banged up? Could Adam Thielen have some value here, or is it just not a good situation because he's playing the Chiefs?
Well, that you have that right. It's not a good situation because he's playing the Chiefs. But I mean, Adam Thielen is another one of those guys where he's a good player. He may have lost a step. He may not be a 15 target guy. He may not get you 100 yards, but he's definitely going to be an option in that offense. And if they are down to Jatavian Sanders, Xavier Legette, and Adam Thielen, then those are the guys who are going to be getting the ball. Speaking of that situation, I don't know if you saw the tweet that I sent out today. Was it a tweet or it could have been a Bluesky?
A Bluesky.
Follow us on Blue Sky. Where'd it go? Found it. So friend of the show, HOU, was asking, like, what separates you as a content creator from the other guys? And I said, I'm not afraid to be wrong. I will own when I'm wrong, because when it happens, I've been betrayed by the data. No hunches. Everything is justified. And number 4, if I say it, I have a lineup where I'm doing it. And right now, I'm currently in the process of making a waiver claim on Theo Johnson to drop Jalen Coker.
All right. Okay. Well, the injury bug is hit, and Theo Johnson is
time to pivot.
Is looking like the pivot you want. All right, folks. Let's move on to let's hear where community happens.
I know.
Where?
Here.
Where? Who are
where
here?
We are.
Oh, we are here. We are here.
Yeah.
We are here.
We are here. We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
Yeah, go there.
Go there. And don't be square, if you know what I mean. All right, let's move on, Biggs. Let's get into the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings here. Aaron Jones was a full participant. He's dealing with a rib injury. Looking at his usage the last couple of weeks, looking like Cam Akers has kind of gotten some goal line work here. What are your thoughts? Is that just because Aaron Jones is banged up, or are we looking at Cam Akers as a guy that could continue to steal some carries here down the stretch for the Vikings?
I don't have a lot of faith in Cam Akers. I'm slowly losing my faith in Ty Chandler. So I don't know. Aaron Jones burning people again. He does that. Well,
I know. And then Sam Darnold, he's been limited in practice with a foot injury. There's no major concerns. He misses week 12. But on the other side of the ball, DeAndre Swift did not practice again. And I know your love for Roschon Johnson. I think he could be a 3-down back. However, in terms of fantasy impact, how does Johnson's potential starting role affect his value week 12? His matchup versus the Vikings, we know this is a very, very tough matchup against opposing running backs. Does he have is he playable if he is the lone starter in this lineup?
Absolutely. I don't think there's a better handcuff out there if they take over a role than Roschon Johnson.
Yeah, he has that 3-down upside too. So and without too much behind him either, as far as depth in the running back room. Khalil Herbert, we know they cut him loose, and now he plays for Cincinnati. So this could be a situation. I know it's a tough matchup, but this, getting the lion's share of the carries here could be a good thing here. So I had him as the waiver wire pickup of my week for the RB position. You had him about 5-6 weeks ago. So we've been talking about Roshan. Hopefully this could be the week that this bearing that injury, hopefully, he does show his worth.
It's going to happen at some point. So let it be this week.
There you go. Tennessee Titans, Houston Texans, divisional game here. Calvin Ridley missed practice yesterday due to illness. Looks like he's going to play. Tajay Spears still in concussion protocol. I don't know if he's been ruled out, but it's not
He's
looking
out.
good. So he's been ruled out there. So looking like the Tony Pollard show once again there in Tennessee. The Houston Texans aren't a great matchup, but what do you look at for Pollard this week, Biggs?
He's gonna carry the lion's share of the carries. However, when we start looking into what the matchup is going to be, they're playing a pretty tough Houston defense. Houston doesn't like giving up a lot of points to running backs, and so I think it's a mediocre matchup for Tony Pollard. The Texans allow the 6th fewest fantasy points to running backs. So whether that's a game script thing, whether they just get ahead of everybody and the running backs kind of sit down, or they actually stop the run, they have allowed 225 attempts and 898 rushing yards total. So it looks like it's more of a good against the run thing rather than just a game script suppression thing. So I would be wary of starting Tony Pollard. Although, again, it's Bimageddon plus injury apocalypse. So you're likely going to have to.
Of course. Yeah. There's there's not much sitting happening this week, that's for sure. Without
not a lot of wiggle room this week.
Exactly. So the Lions look like they're going to get Sam Laporta back this week against Indianapolis Colts in a game, which I'm really excited to see. Anthony Richardson came back and he had a really good game after being benched, showed his I have nothing to lose attitude. I think we're going to see a little bit more of this, trying to keep up with the, Detroit Lions. I've got Anthony Richardson ranked pretty high this week in my rankings. How about you, Biggs?
Same. I do too. Love the matchup. Love what he's been able to put together with Josh Downs and Alec Pierce. They just need a tight end, and they should be a full go for 2025. But yeah, this week it looks good.
Yeah, what a transformation that's been. So good on them. Now the New England Patriots on against the Miami Dolphins. We got a couple injuries that we got to look at here. Austin Hooper was limited with that neck injury, so this is a good thing for Hunter Henry owners in the Patriots offense here. Could he see an increased targets? He's already been performing like a must-start tight end at this stage of the game here, Biggs. Could this just see an increased target share and maybe some more red zone looks?
Yeah, and you look at what the Raiders were able to do last week against Miami, and Hunter Henry is full go this week.
Yeah, I love it. And for those that are looking for a streaming option at this stage, I don't think he's a streamer anymore. He's more of a must start, but get Hunter Henry in there if you can. Tyreek Hill still dealing with that wrist. If there's a game that is his game that he's going to need to prove it here, I think this is the one. And against that Patriots defense, both him and Waddle have something to show. So I'm going to be looking at both those guys this week and seeing how they perform. But that scheme has changed quite a bit. So we'll have to take a look there, Biggs. What are your thoughts on that offense?
I like it.
There you go. Me like it. Okay, well, let's move on to an injury that just kind of developed into something more severe over the last 24 hours. And now it's been reported that Brock Purdy is going to miss with that shoulder injury. And it's looking like Brandon Allen is going to be, stepping in there. So what's your call on this Allen character? Do you have any book on him, Biggs?
Smash Christian McCaffrey as RB1 this week. I don't have a great Brandon Allen take. I just know that, the 49ers are pretty much a plug and play offense. I would be looking at Brandon Allen to kind of slot in there around QB 22, 23, behind or right ahead of Gardner Minshew, Cooper Rush, that kind of area. So, I mean, that's a reasonable expectation for me. He could surprise, but I'm not sold on that happening.
Yeah, then that's a fair assessment here. So let's move on to, the Cowboys and Commanders. CeeDee Lamb, he's been in and out of, the injury bug here, but he's expected to play. But Jake Ferguson has been ruled out with a concussion. Interesting take this morning, with Daniel Jones, being released by the Giants. His name was floated around pretty heavily in the initial stages with the Cowboys, but another team here that could be in the running for the Daniel Jones sweepstakes is your Las Vegas Raiders. So without a couple running backs potentially. So what's your take on this running back room, Biggs, with potentially Zamir White and Alexander Mattison missing?
Yeah, Alexander Mattison and Zamir White were both hurt against Miami last week. Amir Abdullah came in and got most of the work when they were out. So essentially what we're looking at is Amir Abdullah being the lead back and Dylan Laube coming in as the RB2. I hesitate to say that I think Dylan Laube is going to outpoint Amir Abdullah in fantasy this week, but I can totally see it happening. The main issue is that they're playing against the Denver Broncos, and the Denver Broncos, I mean, they are very, very stingy against the run. And Gardner Minshew doesn't scare anybody. So it's not like the Broncos are going to be in a situation where they have to account for the pass or the run. And then on top of that, the Raiders are going to be missing two of their best starting cornerbacks in Jacorian Bennett and Nate Hobbs. So the Broncos are probably going to get out to an early lead, sit on the run game, and the Raiders are going to be trying to throw it to get back in, and it's not a good situation at all for Vegas.
Yeah, so I'm hoping maybe there's some silver lining here. Maybe we get a couple looks on Dylan Laube and see what the Raiders have in their youngster here. Like he's got the skill set that could be in the pass catching, and could be utilized as a first and second down back too. So we'll see what happens.
The only silver lining.
Yeah. So we'll see. And hopefully it works. So let's move on to the Philadelphia Eagles. And they got a big blow today. Devonta Smith is not going to play with that hamstring injury. Looking like AJ Brown and Dallas Goedert should be the beneficiaries here, Biggs. What are your thoughts on this game plan without Devonta Smith?
Well, at this moment, AJ Brown is the number one expert ranked wide receiver for the week. So, if you have him, I have so many Devonta Smith shares, and I just traded for him in a couple of dynasty leagues, trying to make that push. I'm a playoff team in those leagues, but trying to shore myself up for the playoffs. And I've been scrambling around trying to make other arrangements for this week. So go ahead and do the same if you're a Devonta Smith owner. And if you have AJ Brown, you're starting him anyway. So it doesn't really have a whole lot of fantasy impact.
What about Dallas Goedert? Because the last time that AJ Brown was out, he was the beneficiary of a ton of more targets. I know it's not AJ Brown, but it's Devonta Smith going to be vacating some targets, and I know it's not going to be completely reflective that all those targets are going to be spread around. But you got to think that Dallas Goedert's going to be the recipient of some of them.
Yeah, and the only thing about Dallas Goedert is that I have trouble slotting him into the top 10. I have Brock Bowers, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, David Njoku, TJ Hawkinson, Tucker Kraft, Trey McBride, Hunter Henry, and Mark Andrews. Dallas Goedert, Jonnu Smith, Cade Otton, they're kind of around the same tier. They're the back end of the top 10. So maybe a little shuffling, I can get Dallas Goedert up to 9, but I don't like him much higher than that.
That's fair. All right, folks.
And the David Njoku thing, he didn't have a great game last night, but in the rankings, he's locked, so I can't.
Yeah, he's locked in. Yeah, of course. All right, man. Well, that is it for the injury reports here. We're headed into week 12, Biggs, and it's the home stretch here. And tell everybody what you got on the slate for the weekend. I know you got Breakfast with Biggs coming up Sunday morning. You do your start and sit show. I really have a hard time getting that one out.
you keep doing it. I only brought that up as a joke, and you keep doing it. So as every show, I like to run through my schedule, and today is Saturday. So tomorrow, Breakfast with Biggs, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern, and that leads right into Spilled Coffee with a great panel of people. I typically do Breakfast with Biggs by myself. Sometimes Amber comes in. So she's my Queen's Ransom co-host. Sometimes I see Grindberg there. Sometimes I've had Schultze on, but usually it's just me. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But yeah, join me for that. And then we have our waiver wire show dropping next Tuesday. Wednesday is Queen's Ransom with me and Amber, and then Thursday is Points After Thursday, followed by starts and sits on Friday and the injury show on Saturday. We got a full slate, a full week, and we're here for you.
Absolutely, we are. And so is the community over at Fantasy Sports Advice Network. So be sure to check them out over there, creating great content as always. So Biggs, what do we say to everybody headed into the weekend?
Well, I like to say, unless your name is Sean Raycraft, Big Draft Energy, or Mike Lindbergh, I hope you win.
I hope you win too, buddy. Peace out, folks.
No, I hope you don't win.
I hope you win.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to fantasysportsadvice.com and become a